So, take off, gear up. There we go, gears are back in, not smashing off those. So, I want to target 90 degrees to get ourselves back towards east. There we go. We're leaving the landing site, which is there. It's kind of on the map. It's nice. We're leaving that behind. That adventure is over. And we want to make a nice flat approach to 90 degrees towards east, effectively, which we're doing, making a good little jump. You can see already that we've made quite a sizable orbit already. You remember how much fuel we used trying to get off Kerbin. We've used nowhere near as much to get off of the Mun. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cheat a little bit. What I'm going to do is when we get kind of an intersect about here, is I'm going to actually boost away. I'm actually not going to go back into orbit of the Mun because that will kind of waste a little bit of fuel. What I want to do is keep boosting out this way and try to keep a shallow orbital reference to the Mun. And we're going to try and get kind of the apoapsis about, let's have a look here, probably about here. So once it's about here, I'm going to kill this boost. There we go. Good. Right, so you'll notice we're not in orbit. If we were to carry on, we'd end up slamming into here. I don't really care about that for now. What I want to do is to maneuver, and I want to put us into, we've got a little bit of a problem with alignment, so I'm going to adjust that, just to make us nice and aligned. That's a little bit better, a little bit less maybe. Yeah, that's good. And I want to boost us a lot, right? So I want to take us into kind of an orbit, but I actually don't. I want to go further than that, and I want to escape. I want to escape. Let me out. Yeah, we're going to escape the Mun. We're going to go out of its orbit, and what we want to do is try to get ourselves into a nice orbit of Kerbin, and from the escape vector. And to do that, we're going to do this, and I'll tell you for why. It's because what we want to do is try and get it so we're nice and got a reasonably low centre there. We don't want it too low, and I'll explain that in a minute as to why. But I think this should be okay. So, again, jump to the manoeuvre node. You'll see this whole thing is a lot more manoeuvrable now that we've lost our big, heavy section. And we need to do a 28-second burn. Again, therefore, we need to wait for halfway to that point, which is 14 seconds. So once we get to 14 seconds to the node, we will burn. So we're going to jump ahead quite a way for 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute, and just slow that down. Oh, sorry, I just killed it. Slow it down to about 14 seconds. There we go. So we're about 20 seconds, and we're making sure we're pointing at the node. That's very important. And now, yep, there we go. Cool. So we're off. Got a 14-second burn. It's expensive, and yep, I'm a bit nervous about the fuel situation. I've got to say, we are burning through the fuel here on the left. You'll spend forever if you play this game looking at this going, oh my god, we're losing so much fuel. But actually, it doesn't look too bad. We are nearly there to a greater or lesser extent. I'm just going to sit on this screen. I'm not going to bother going anywhere else because you need to be very careful with the fuel. Ooh, that's not bad. Like it. Okay, let's have a look at it here. Cool, that's good enough. Let's kill that for now and stop wasting fuel. Cool, there we go. So, we are now going to end up, when we escape the moon, we escape the Mun, we're going to end up flying out this way, escaping its influence here, and we'll then be within influence of Kerbin. And what we want to do once we're there is effectively slow the hell down, because we want to get back into a nice orbit of Kerbin. So I'll show you that in a second. Let's zoom right ahead, and we'll... Boop, there we go. Right, we're now where we need to be, in effect. We are in an orbit of Kerbin. And what we're going to do is we're going to wait until we get to about here, because that is our apoapsis. That's the furthest point. That is our periapsis, the closest point. Let's do a little manoeuvre there, whereby we do retrograde. And again, remember retrograde to get us closer. Ooh, dear, that's not a good one. That's not a good one. We don't want to do that, because we'll end up accidentally being slowed down enough to re-enter the Mun. We definitely don't want to do that. So let's try doing this, just to get ourselves out. So we'll be at 776. That's not bad. I'm happy with that. So let's walk to the next manoeuvre. How long do we have to do? 50-second burn. Christ, that's expensive. 25 seconds either side of the T. Yep, it's expensive. I don't know if we're going to have enough fuel for this. I'll be honest with you, I don't know if we're going to have enough fuel. Let's do it though. We could do it's kind of a cyclical thing to get back to the planet. So that's fine. Let's get to 25 seconds-ish. Come on, go back to there. Still not very manoeuvrable, it's got to be said. 25 burn. There we go. Just gets back to there. We don't want to make any mistakes here. No, it's not 20. What the hell are you talking about? This thing is way off. This burn thing is nowhere near what it used to be. Only a 10-second burn by looks. I was thinking 50 seconds. It didn't seem a bit much. So yeah, once we're here, we'll just go for a burn. Yeah, so what we're doing is we're getting ourselves back into a nicer orbit of Kerbin, bringing it down from this high orbit. We don't want to really go back into... We don't want to like almost bring ourselves back into the atmosphere from here, because we'd be moving incredibly fast. And that would potentially burn us up on re-entry. We don't want to do that. So we want to get ourselves back into a kind of shallower or closer orbit of Kerbin. That's nice. Yeah, so what we want to do, now that we're well away from the Mun, what could have happened is if we'd slowed down too much, the Mun could have almost caught up to us. It's going this way. Could have caught up to us and then was dragged us back into its influence, which would have caused no end of problem. Could have been flung out into space or God knows what else. So we'll do the same on this side. Bring it right the way down to sub 100, hopefully. 140, 120, yeah, 95, that's okay. 1 minute 14 burn, I don't believe it's that much for a bloody minute. Let's go to here, and oh god, that's what's happened. We've ended up kind of in a weird little, ooh dear, that's bad news. That's going to completely screw everything up. Let's kill that manoeuvre, because it will not matter now we've been caught. What's happening is we're being dragged away by the Mun, and it has helped us, weirdly enough. I think that's actually pulled our orbit in. So that's kind of good news. What we can actually do then, given that's happened, is we can... That's actually... Oh, that was planned. It wasn't planned. What we can do is add a maneuver and drag in our orbit such that we actually re-enter the atmosphere. We can do a couple of things. Firstly, we can try to end up coming in for... Can we do that from here? Ooh, it's a bit awkward. Ooh, it's going to be an awkward one, actually. We're not at a great angle. Yeah, it's going to be... That's going to be awkward as hell. Yep, there we go. Can we do that? How much is it going to cost? 654, Jesus. Okay. You know what we're going to do? We're going to do this. We're going to bring it back to here. So we're going to be much closer, but nowhere near as expensive as 600. Because we'll be at about 2,500,000, so that's fine in terms of distance. Let's bring it to about 1 million, and that's 400. Still quite expensive in terms of the burn time, but we should be okay. It's all about conserving fuel at this point, honestly, getting back to Kerbin and getting ourselves into a nice position to deorbit and land. So let's turn ourselves to face our target, which is just coming into view here. Yep, there we are. It's 4 hours until the burn, so we've got a long old period of time. What was the next manoeuvre? Sorry, I did that off screen a bit. Yep, and you can see the planet is also spinning, which makes it very difficult to find a location. I want to splash down. I want to land in the water, in the ocean. Landing on land is a problem because you could end up again slamming into a mountain. You could end up hitting the ground too hard. You can end up tipping over as you hit the ground. We want to land in the ocean, like the moon, like the Mun. It's about hitting the right place when we come into land. So let's zoom out and take a look. We also want to try and land on the sunny side, so I can see you guys, show you guys what's happening, which is kind of a target for me, not necessarily for you if you're doing this. So let's wait until about 20 seconds. Good. And watch the fuel deplete again, and me have a heart attack. Because I think this is going to be really, really expensive. Actually, the fuel's not going down too much. It is a small engine. This is the REL10 Poodle liquid fuel engine, which I have used, I think, in an older game. So I do know that it's not particularly hungry, but obviously it's not overly powerful. And that is kind of part of the appeal of it, because we don't want to be too powerful at this point. So here we go, liquid fuel burning away. And we are bringing it down quite quickly. We're doing okay. About another few seconds, I'd imagine. 2, 1... Dead. There we go. That'll do. Again, it's not a hugely important one to get right. Okay, so can we do this? I don't think we can actually at this point. Let's reduce the distance to bang on, or nearest damn bang on 70k, because that way it's cheap to deorbit when we get close. Because at the moment, what's going to happen, if we try to deorbit here, we're going to make a target using this theoretical line, and the Kerbin is going to spin. And then we're going to be screwed. So let's go for maneuver and wait until we get right up to that node, which we're going to do any second. So we're going to spin all the way around. And you can see we're now creating a very, very shallow orbit. Excuse me. Sorry, on the periapsis, the closest point, we're at 73 kilometers. As I said before, in kind of one of the when we first took off, the closest point we can be is 70,001 meters. That's as close as we can get without being in the atmosphere and it degrading our orbit. In this instance, well, hilariously enough, we actually want that to happen. We want to get close. We obviously want to get to deorbit, but we want to do so in a controlled way. So we come down in the ocean, ideally, so we don't end up slamming into the ground or into a mountain or something worse. So let's go for this. Wait until about 6 seconds, because it's again 12 divided 2. Oh, I've overshot, but that's no huge deal. Again, at this point, we're so far from the surface, or from the almost. We don't have to be too fine about how we do this. We can be quite aggressive in how we apply our burns here. But the main thing is we want to be careful not to overburn, as it were. There we are. I don't think that's actually a term, but there we are. So we are now at 74k. That's nice. Let's maneuver to here. Let's warp here. And I'll explain why. Because what I want to do is look for a nice section of ocean that we can try to come down in. Would it be good to land? Let's kill that off, actually. Slash to stop. Could we get away? Let's rotating that. Planet's rotating that way. Could we do something like that? I think we could, because I think, given our so that's going to rotate sorry, I keep calling that. Kerbin is going to rotate this way, right? So we're going to have this spit of land is going to move this way. I think we'll come down about here with the drag. It's a gamble. Again, these guys. Oh, look at these guys. They're still. Look at how happy they are. I would not be happy at this point. I'd be pooing myself. I don't know what I'm doing. This is a very strange transfer, and I'm not sure I'm going to get it right. But you know what we do have? Quick save. Yeah. So if I screw this up, which I'm almost inevitably going to do, we can come back and try again. We only need to do a 25-second burn, and we've got a little while to do it. So we're going to wait until we get to. Jesus. Sorry, the RCS is not working. There we go. It's because I haven't turned it on. There we are. So let's maneuver. Let's wait until we get to our maneuver. We're going to warp to our next maneuver, which is cool. There we are. So we need to wait for about 12 seconds, give or take. Here we go. There. Burn. Burn. So going to burn until our blue line gets to about here, starts to sort of degrade into the... our orbit is degraded effectively. Here we go. Let us kill it about when that gets to there. I'm looking on using my eyes to look. There we go. Okay, cool. So let's just kill that. So what should happen now, hopefully, with the drag, remember we're going to go through the atmosphere. So landing is... We're not going to land there. We're not going to come down there. We're going to end up basically somewhere in this sea. That's what I want. So let's jump back to here, and I'll show off where we are. Hit retrograde. So we want to go backwards in. I'm going to use this engine to slow us down. These, by the way, these photovoltaic panels are doomed. They're going to basically be burned away. We have full electric charge. That's very important because as we come down, these panels are going to go. They're going to be blown off. They're going to, as we go in, the drag's going to rip them off. So we need to get all the sun we can. Otherwise, as I say, this is not pilotable. Only this remote guidance unit is what we're using. If we run out of energy on the drop, which can happen because we lose our panels, we're screwed. Our other panels are here on the back. I can't even click them. I can't even see them. Yeah, so they can't see the sun. Worth noting because it has caught me out more than a few times. So what we're going to do, we're at 100 kilometers, just there, just gone. So I'm going to just boost, speed time, and get to, there we go. So it automatically dropped us, and that's because we've entered the atmosphere. We're below 70k. In a little while, we'll start to see that re-entry effect. So let's just keep going forward. You can see the orbital speed is increasing much higher than it was on the moon, the Mun, because obviously Kerbin is bigger, and you can see here we go, we're starting to get that burn effect. Now, we need to slow down because we are really, really quick. And crucially, we are wanting to come down in here, in the sea. So, burn. Use all the fuel we can to reduce our drop into the sea. That's where we want to come down. So what I've done is I've burnt a little bit. We have no lift. I'm just going to let this do the work. It should take most of the heat because of the fact that it's an engine. But if it does start to show red, there's a little temperature warning that comes up. I'm going to blow, effectively decouple this, and then we've got a stage there for a heat shield. That's what I'm going to use. So let's do this for a little while. Let's just burn. So we make sure we're going to come down in the sea and at a reasonable pace. So we're now slowing down very, very gently. We're slowing down. And do you know that is actually KSP? That's the Kerbal Space KSC rather. That's the Kerbal Space Center. That's where we actually want to end up. So now I'm going to kill that because it's nearly out of fuel, and it is going to start showing temperature warnings any second. So I'm going to do this, get rid of it, and do that. And now I'm going to flip the ship over. There we go. Heat shield. Boom. Heat shield's up. So yeah, we're still on for coming in here. That is where Kerbal Space... That was unplanned, actually. That is Kerbal Space Center. We're going to come down in the sea near Kerbal Space Center. So we actually haven't... we've actually done quite a good job here. There it is. Below us. Wow, okay. Let's hope I get this right, because if I don't, I'm going to look like a tit. So I have some additional jets on here, which I'm going to throttle up and fire. Once we get down a little bit lower, here we go. So we're coming down now. I'm going to fire them when we get over here, so we don't come down straight on our... We don't want to crash into here. We do want to still splash down. Now, we're below the heat. You can see the heat has died off. We've still got some drag. But I now don't care about the heat shield so much. I'm going to jettison that. It's still attached to us because we're still moving with it. But fire those engines, and we should start to slow down significantly. We also have these, which you saw on the descent. I forgot to show you, were red. That means if we deployed them, they'd have been blown off. The speed we were moving was just not conducive. We'd have ended up losing them. They'd just come off and they'd have caught fire, ripped off the craft. It would have been a disaster. So we didn't want to activate those then. However, when we get over the sea, which I'm just waiting for because we're not quite over there yet. I'm just going to zoom forward a little bit. We are now just about over the sea. Yeah, we're in a decent place to splash down, I think, now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to activate our... we're at 3,000, so that's a pretty good place to do it. Activate all of our parachutes. And you should see, once that activates, there we go, the heat shield drops off. Again, more weight lost, which is good. Now, what's happened here is that these parachutes have activated, they've flared at 2,500. We're below that. These other ones have no fear. They look like they're kind of not doing a lot. They aren't at the moment. They will flare at 1,000 meters, and that was 1k. So we're going to wait until 1k. 1k, you should see these all flare. Nice. And our speed is dropping. 6.5 meters per second. That is a good speed to be coming down at. Should be acceptable, and we're in water. Look at that. Look how close we are. Basically, they can just swim to the beach there and just walk back. It's going to be cool. So let's wait until we get down. So I'm going to just speed up time a little bit here to about... wait until we get to about 150-ish. Speed up again. Again, the speed on the Kerbin is lower. That's why it's in red. It doesn't speed up quite as much as when you're in orbit. So once we get down to... You can see the shadow there. So we know we're getting pretty close to the ground. A bit like landing on the Mun. We need to just be careful as we come in. But we should be good. We're in a good place. So let's kill the speed there. Let's kill the speed. Kill the speed. And we also want to kill the speed here as well. We still have monoprop, which is used for these very small engines. They're not very effective, but they're enough to just give us a little bit of slowdown. So let's do it. Let's just activate those engines, throttle up, and you can see it's brought us down to 4.3. Very, very slow. Good speed to be going at. Let's just turn off that, just so we can come in at a nice angle to the water. There we go. And we should splash down nice and safely. There we go. It's flipped upside down, yeah, but we're good. Ultimately, the hatch is there above the water. They're fine. There you go, underwater shot there. That is amazing. Look at how close we are. Basically, they can now just send a car down, and these guys can just swim ashore. But that's really good. That's not, even if I do say so myself, that's actually quite a good one. So, but good, right? Recover vessel. That's it. We're done. We're back home. We've actually done it. There we are. I've done it. We're back home. Jebediah, Bill, Bob, Valentina, home safe and sound. We did it. They landed like there to the space station. They literally landed there. Wow. Okay. I'm pretty pleased with that. Apart from the annoying glitches we had with the maneuver node stuff, which was not really my fault. Everything kind of worked out okay. I'm genuinely surprised. I was kind of expecting a lot of explosions and miscalculations and what have you. We had just about enough fuel to get back and decelerate and land and everything. You can see, though, there's a lot of variables, and that's part of the fun of the game. There's a lot of fun aspects of this game in terms of like the science aspects. A lot of them have silly kind of text to the discoveries you make. A lot of the tech. If we just jump in here, I'll show you a little example just for fun. Things like the little flavour text on these. Capsule is designed for lightweight, non-atmospheric landing seats, single occupant, features a novel full-body crumple zone technology. Yeah, great. There's various little like jokes and bits and pieces in here. Some of the kind of engines and fuel tanks have much the same. They're very just stupid little things here. Small cans fill what appears to be solid rocket fuel, although not much of a step forward in terms of raw power. Kerbal scientists have slowly warmed up to Decepticons' many uses, such as pushing things away. For better results, angle before use. Again, that's what we used before for our kind of jettisoning our kit. But there are examples. There are nice little examples of kind of science bits and pieces. I could try and find one now. Here we go. So yeah, a device for performing accurate fluid spectrophotometry scans of the surrounding atmosphere. Despite some criticism claiming the fluid spectrometry isn't a real science, Kerbal scientists seem to all agree the data it provides is definitely interesting or to avoid if exposed to air. Brilliant, because that's an atmospheric thing you're meant to use on space planes and stuff. So there we go. I'm not really explaining the jokes very well. They don't need to be explained. It's all quite funny. I mean, the fact you have these pathetic little guys who just bob about and fall out of spacecraft and smack their heads and just get up and just smile is funny enough. As I say, very Minion-like. I don't want to get in trouble with Disney for saying it, but they are very similar. And they're quite funny. They have their own little language, by the way, when you play this game. They don't really talk. They just sort of make funny little noises. It's great. It all adds to it. You can pick this game up. I'm going to give it a plug because, as I say, I really, really like the game. I've played many hours of this in the early kind of alpha, and I can see they've improved this. Just going back in here again, a lot of this stuff is new. I've never seen this before. They've reskinned some of these things so they look a bit kind of cooler and a bit higher texture, higher resolution. A lot of this stuff gets added into the game. It's got modding support. In other words, a lot of people have added like extra parts and extra tools and stuff like that you can use in the game. I'm using the vanilla game. I haven't added any mods, just for anyone who's interested in that. But again, it's fantastic on its own. The whole modular system works really well. And as I say, the fact the dev team kind of just add to this game. They've redesigned the whole thing for 1.1 in Unity. It's a 64-bit version, effectively. Different engine. More powerful, effectively, better optimized, and it feels it. It does feel a lot smoother, barring the annoying bug that I had with not being able to have maneuver nodes. It really is a superb game. And as I say, you can pick it up on Steam. It's pretty cheap. For the number of hours I've got out of this, it's great. If you like sandbox games, if you like kind of space games, you like prattling around and blowing stuff up and ending, just, again, having fun, adding more thrusters to stuff or adding more fuel to stuff and watching it explode on the pad or blow up in midair, this is the game for you. It really does. And it is one of those games that, as I say, is risk reward. The further you go, the more stuff you try to do. There is a learning curve, but once it's a very rewarding learning curve. Once you start to learn how to play the game, once you start to learn how, again, things like separatrons and the manifolds and all the fueling and all that stuff works, it's really rewarding. I mean, I have gone to some of the outer planets. I've gone to some of the moons of Joule, which is the gas giant, and stuff like that. It is very rewarding. You do feel a sense of some satisfaction, if you like, from doing that. So there we go. That was Kerbal Space Program. A little bit of Kerbal Space Program. I may do some more stuff with it, some more videos, possibly if I feel like it, and if I see more in this kind of new version that I want to show off, which I kind of feel like I probably will do. But definitely for now, that is it. I'm very surprised, I should say, that I managed to get to the Marne and back with my full contingent of crew. They're all there, they're all happy, and none of them are lost/dead, and that's great. I'm actually very happy with that. So there we are. I hope you enjoyed, guys, and I'll see you soon. Cheers.